Hello there, how are you? Welcome back to Confident Business English. Today I'm going to do another Express Yourself Better episode. We're going to focus on even more advanced business adjectives that you can slot into your vocab that I think you're really going to like, actually. And you're going to get the chance in the episode today to practice some sentences. So the focus of this episode is building your confidence using new words and not just using the same old basic things all the time. Let's crack on then, shall we? Right then, this Express Yourself Better episode is a continuation of episode number 247, so feel free to jump back and listen to that one before this one, or you can just listen to it on its own, doesn't really matter. Each episode is its own nice little unit. You may have heard some of these adjectives before, but as I've said, do you actually use them? Because that's what we're trying to get to here, right? Don't forget that if you love the podcast, you can actually sign up and become a free member. As part of this, being a free member, you get my weekly newsletter called The Nutshell, where you get extra stuff that I don't talk about on the podcast, and a practical exercise which goes along with the content from the episode. So if you find the episode really beneficial, then, you've got to be a free member. There's no question. If you want to join, go to the show notes of this episode, click the link and sign up. It's as simple as that. Let's start with the first one on the list. Let me give you some context first of all. I had a client this morning actually, and he has a meeting coming up with some of his heads of department. So he has heads of department in different countries. Maybe you have that type of situation as well. He was like, I want to get my ideas across, but also I want to get thoughts from them. I want to get their feedback. But I don't really want to sort of delve into the detail. I just really want the headlines. The headlines is actually an interesting term because that's what we talk about in the newspaper. But we can also use it to say just the important points. What are the key things that I have to know? A little bit like the headlines in a newspaper. The adjective that I want to share with you here then is high level. Broad and general perspective. We're not delving into the specifics. We're not going into a lot of detail. I just want a high level overview. What are the key points? If you want somebody to give you the big picture without going into too much detail, you could ask them to give you a high-level overview. Let's put that into practice then, and I'm going to give you a couple of sentences, and what you can do is repeat them out loud where you are. I'm going to focus you on high-level overview because I think that's the most common collocation. So here are 3 sentences that you can practice. Could you give me a high-level overview? I'd like to give you a high-level overview. We gave the client a high-level overview. Next on the list, I was doing a role play actually the other day with a group, and we were discussing whether, I was just sort of refereeing, let's say. They had to decide whether they wanted to set up a new HR system, and they had a couple of options. The first one, of course, is to do nothing. The second one was to upgrade the current system. And the third one was to do a complete brand new software. Perhaps you found yourself in this position as well. Like it's a typical options analysis at work, and you've got to weigh up the pros and cons, right? To see which one you're going to go for, which option you're going to rule out. We were discussing the third option, which is to do a complete overhaul of the system and get a new one. And, they were sort of saying, well, you have to have a lot of people involved. It's also just going to take a lot of time. We're going to need a lot of people. We're going to need a lot of things to do it. All of those things are absolutely fine, but you could sum that up with a beautiful adjective like this. If we go for option number 3, it's going to be really labor intensive. It's going to be really time intensive. It's going to be really resource intensive. Resource intensive requires a lot of materials, money. I just said money and energy together. This happens sometimes. I don't know if you've ever done that. Monergy. Sounds horrible. Anyway, Time intensive, obviously, I don't need to tell you that. It takes a lot of time to accomplish something. Data analysis, for example, can be very time intensive. Labor intensive, I guess it's kind of obvious, but it needs a large amount of human effort or workforce to achieve it. So these are some more advanced ways to say essentially the same thing. So definitely try those ones out the next time you're doing an options analysis, or the next time you want to explain why or give your reasons why something might be worth considering or not. Let's make it practical then, and here are your sentences with intensive. Repeat them after me to practice if you can, or if you're in a place where it's slightly awkward to practice out loud, you can do it in your head. Mining is a very resource intensive industry. Data analysis can be quite time intensive. Finally, I know it's the end of the year, right? And probably you're working like mad, I imagine, to close off everything before that big deadline at the end of the year in December. I was having a meeting with a client the other day and he was like, I'm just super busy. I've been having back-to-back meetings. I've been doing this, I've been doing that. And then in my personal life as well, it's just all a little bit much. And I said, I've got the perfect adjective for you, the perfect advanced business adjective for you. And that is to be flat out. If you are working flat out, you are going full speed. You're like maximum velocity. You could use this to describe yourself. You could say, I'm flat out at the moment. Or maybe even you might want to recognize your team's achievements. And you could say, guys, I know that you've been working flat out recently, and I just want to say I really, really appreciate that. And I know that you're all working really, really hard. We've all been flat out. I just want to say that it's recognized, we appreciate it, and just keep going until the end of the year. Unless you're an accountant, and then January's a disaster. Let's take a look at flat out, and here are your sentences to practice. I'm working flat out at the moment. The team is absolutely flat out at the moment. I've been really flat out recently. To wrap up then, these adjectives are a way to make you sound more advanced and to stop you saying the same things all the time, because I know that really frustrates you. The first one we had on the list was high level, giving broad and general perspectives, a high level overview. That's my favorite one. The second one is the little intensive family, resource intensive, time intensive, labor intensive. And last but not least, if you're working a lot, you could describe yourself as working flat out, maximum capacity, maximum velocity. This episode then is the first step to using these words. Now you've got the context, you understand what it means, and you've got some examples. So how can you actually now start to say these words? Because that's the practical element of this. First thing I would encourage you to do is to translate it into your own language. This gives your brain a reference point, like an anchor. You could write down a few examples that you can actually imagine yourself saying. Put it in context for you. If you like the app Anki, I'll leave a link for this in the show notes. You can add your vocabulary into a deck and practice over the next couple of weeks, the ones that you like or the ones that are most relevant for you. And of course, I guess, try it out. See if you can take one of these sentences and actually practice it today, even after listening to this episode, or at least this week. And finally, let me know how you get on. I'm always interested to hear about your progress. Just as a reminder, I will be putting a practical exercise in the newsletter this week. So if you want to get your hands on that, don't forget to sign up and join as a free member. Thank you so much, as always, for squeezing me into your very busy week. I much appreciate it. It's great to be with you, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.